Welcome back to 6th grade language. We are on lesson 131. It's pages 214 to 216. It's a looking back section, so we are doing a lot of review. And so we're going to do a couple of problems in together, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and work through this. So go ahead, and the first section is the sentence, and we're going to skip that. You're going to do it, but I'm going to move down to the capitalization and punctuation. We're going to do numbers 1 to 5 together. Then you'll finish that exercise on your own, and then we'll move from there, okay? So number 1, capitalization and punctuation. Mark each incorrect small letter. Add punctuation where needed, okay? So the very first one, at a press conference, Mayor Bradley announced that 27th Avenue would be repaved. Okay, so what needs to be capitalized, or what punctuation do we need? Well, the first one would be Mayor Bradley, because that's a name and that's a title. So Mayor and Bradley should both be capitalized. You can mark it with the 3 lines underneath your small letter, okay? That's really tiny. Maybe I should make it bigger over here. Okay, so Mayor Bradley. And then we also need to capitalize 20 and Avenue. 7th does not need to be capitalized because it is part of the word 27th. So 20 and Avenue. And then there's one punctuation that is needed in this sentence. Does anyone see it? 27th is a number, and when we have a number like that is one number, we need a hyphen in between the 20 and the 7th. So just one of those small little marks, similar to that, just like that in between 20 and 7th, okay? Moving on to number 2, Leah asked, isn't the Amazon River the longest river in the world? Okay, so what do we need in this sentence? Okay, if you said that we needed to put punctuation marks or quotation marks around, isn't the Amazon River the longest in the world, you would be correct. If you were saying something else, that's okay as well. We're gonna go with, let's start with the punctuation. So the quotation marks around the direct quotation. We also need a comma after asked. And isn't is a contraction, so we're going to need an apostrophe above, between the N and the T. And you can use your little caret mark to insert an apostrophe or to insert your quotation marks. Those would be helpful. And then this is also a question. And so at the very end, you're going to have a question mark before your end quotation marks, okay? All right. That's all that we need in question, or in, oh, no, I'm sorry. Amazon River also needs to be capitalized because it is a proper noun. All right, so number 3 says, no, Leah, the Nile River is the longest river in the world, replied Miss Glenn. Okay, so here we start off with the quotation, right? So the quotation marks go first, and after words like no and yes, what do we need? A comma. So make sure to put a comma after no. And then Leah is the name, so what needs to happen with her name? Capitalize it. So capitalize Leah. And then since we're directly talking, or Miss Glenn's directly talking to her, she's a direct address. And we also need a comma after Leah. And then the Nile River needs to be capitalized, is the longest river in the world. That's the end of our quotation, so we put a comma and then our quotation marks, replied Miss Glenn. And Miss Glenn is a name, so what do we need to do with that? Yes, capitalize Miss Glenn. Okay, sentence 4, didn't Dr. Holmes teach History 101 at Parkview College for 22 years? Okay, didn't is a contraction, and what did we need with isn't? We needed the apostrophe, so go ahead and put an apostrophe between the N and the T. And then Dr. Holmes is a proper noun, or it's a name, so what do we do with that? We're going to capitalize Dr. and Holmes, and doctor is an abbreviation, so we also need a period after doctor. And then History 101, that is a specific class, and so if we have a specific class, so if there's a number after it, or it is like, or we know that it's a specific class, we do capitalize that one as well, but we don't normally just capitalize history. And then Parkview College is a proper place, a proper noun, so you're going to capitalize those both. And then 22, remember when we had 27th in the first one, what do we need between 20 and 2? Yes, the hyphen. And the in punctuation for this would be what? Yes, it would be a question mark because it is a question. And then number 5, we're going to do, this will be the last one we do together for this section. Mr. Blandick is the treasurer of the Illinois chapter of the American Red Cross. Okay, this one doesn't need any punctuation. It's got all the punctuation it needs, but there are some words to capitalize. What are the words to capitalize? Well, there's Illinois, that's a state, so we're going to capitalize that. And what about American? Because we capitalize the American Red Cross because it is an organization. And so we're going to do Illinois, American, and Red Cross. Okay, so you're going to do 6 through 10 on your own. And then with using verbs, moving on to page 215, go ahead and look at number 1. We'll do that together. Our cat dragged or drug a mouse to our front door and left it lying or laying there. Okay, these ones can be tricky as we've looked at before, but there's a right and a wrong to these. There's several of the words that are commonly used, but they are actually not the correct words. So our cat dragged would be correct. So you'd cross out drug a mouse to our front door and left it lying there because it was not lying is that it just was there. And so we want to pick lying for that one. So then you can do 2 through 10 on your own. And if you need help with those, go ahead and check back on the pages that in the unit that showed those, the way we do those verbs, okay? On to the diagramming at the bottom. We are going to do, with these ones, I'm gonna do 1 and 2 on the board. And then I want you to do 3. So I'm going to do these 2 on the board, and so that's going to be 1 for each of the groups. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to have the girls do the odd numbered and the boys do the even numbered, and I know there's only one boy, so Ryan, you get to do the even numbered ones after we're done after this video, okay? So, Lewis broke the baseball bat. What is our subject and verb? So it would be Lewis broke, okay? And what did he break? He broke the bat, right? And broke is what type of verb? Is it an action verb or a linking verb? Did he physically break it? Yes, so it's an action. So that would make the bat which complement? It's going to be a D-O, okay? So good if you got that. If not, make sure to correct that. So it's a D-O. So we're going to put this on the diagram, and we put our subject here, Lewis, and our verb, I'm going to move this over just so I have enough space, broke. And how do we mark for a direct object? Okay, yes, we're going to put a straight line that goes up and it doesn't pass through the line, it just starts or just sits there, okay? And then we're going to put the word that. All right. Now we have two words that we haven't diagrammed, and what are they? Yes, they're adjectives, and they describe the word that. And when we put an adjective on our diagram, we put it on a slanted line right below. Kind of hard to write on these. Okay, the baseball bat. Okay, the crowd grew silent. All right, what is our subject and verb? Okay, crowd would be our subject. Grew would be our verb. Now, did the crowd actually grow, or is this a linking verb? This would be a linking verb. So remember we said that was an action verb, this is a linking verb, and they grew silent, okay? And now we've got two options for our complement here. It could be a predicate adjective or a predicate nominative. Is this word an adjective or is it a noun? It would be an adjective because it goes back and it describes the crowd. We could say the silent crowd, and it would make sense. So this would be a predicate adjective. All right, so we're going to go ahead and diagram this. Crowd is our subject. So we're going to put crowd on this part, and then grew is our verb. So we're going to write that. Now it's a predicate adjective, and what kind of line are we going to put here before we write silent? We did a straight line there, so we're going to do a slanted. Remember, it points back to our noun or our subject. So silent is going to go there. And there's one word that we haven't diagrammed, and I'm sure you can remember that that's the, and it's an adjective, and it describes crowd. I'm going to write that a little better. Okay, so that is how to diagram those two. Now, you may copy those. You can pause the video and you can copy those for doing that on your piece of paper. And then you're going to do the rest of them on your page. And then on page 216, the last section is using verbs. So using verbs will be the last, and then subject and verb agreement will go with tomorrow's lesson. Okay, so let's do the first two together, and then I'll let you get to work on those. Army men and civilians digged the Panama Canal. If the sentence contains no errors in the use of verbs, write correct in the blank. If the sentence does contain an error in the use of verbs, write the correct verb in the blank. Okay, so is that correct, or should it be a different verb? Would that be the right form of digged? So it would be the past because they did it in the past. So it would be dug. So number one should be dug. And number two, we have already ate the cookies Mom gave us. Is that the correct form? Have ate. Okay, anytime that it has the helping verb have or has, it's going to be that past tense. And so it's have eaten. So you're going to write eaten for number two. And let's do number three, just to help you out. Cattle were lying in the shade of the trees. Is that correct, or should we have a different form? If you said it was correct, then you are right. So number three is correct. So I'll let you finish that section on your own, so you can go back and do that. We do have a test that is coming up. It's in lesson 134. So go ahead and be getting prepared for that. and we'll see you next time.